Hello. We're going to be starting in a few seconds. I just want to make sure that you can hear me properly. So if you can just say something in the chat, if you can hear me. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Hi, Cornel. So let's wait a few, maybe 1 minute, and to let more people join. Well, let's get started. So, hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. So welcome to this webinar, which is the fourth one in the series of product discovery that we have been running. Today we're going to be looking at the product discovery from the lens of the consultant. Okay, in previous sessions, we looked at product discovery from the lens of UX and design. We also look at discovery from the lens of product management, and the last one, which was also really cool, we looked at product discovery from the lens of engineering. This webinar is only for the Actia Solutions family, let's say, Actia Solutions community. Is not been published, so it's only for people who is subscribed to our list, and we really appreciate your time here. I hope it's a valuable use of your time. So let's get moving with a short round of introductions. Probably you already know me and the company, but if you just joined the company, just a quick round of introductions. So my name is Gerard Chiva, and I'm the managing director of Actia Solutions, a management consulting firm from Barcelona, Spain. What we do at Actia Solutions is actually allowing and helping companies create better products from the innovation standpoint, and also from helping them in the digital product management, in organizing in a lean way, and also in helping executives to understand and to do what needs to be done to become a modern digital product organization. That's what we do, what we have been doing from the beginning. We are actually a very young company. Well, not myself, I'm quite old already, but the company started operating in September 2018. And since then, we have been providing a lot of valuable content and free, mostly online, like webinars and free trainings and books and lots of articles. We have been doing that for a while, and also webinars. We didn't start doing webinars in March this year, but we have been doing that for a while, and hopefully this one is also useful for the attendees in the session. Some companies that already trusted our services, just in case you don't know ourselves, we have been working for quite broad type of industries and type of companies, both in Spain and mostly in Europe. So going past the introduction, let's see. Today my voice is not very good because I've been running 3 days in a row workshops and trainings for customers, and my voice is about to just disappear. So you will forgive me if I have to drink water from time to time. So let's go into the introduction. As I was saying, this is the fourth of a series of webinars that we have been running. From the first one was about prototyping into the overall process of product discovery. The second one was product discovery from the perspective of product management, where Federico introduced us to very important product discovery principles, some of them which we will see again today. Then the third one was about technology. You have all of them available in our YouTube and Vimeo channels. Not this one. This one is not going to be recorded. So if you're here, you get it. If you don't, you don't get it. And the third one, as I was saying, was technology, because I thought it was important to bring technology into the product discovery wall, because sometimes we forget about technology, and I think technology is core, is in the center of product discovery. You need very good engineers who are able to quickly develop stuff and quickly prototype also, and also they need to understand that it's not about building stuff, it's about understanding the problems that the market needs to be solved, and understanding that we exist in product organizations, and product teams exist to solve a business problem or solve a product in the market. It's not just about building stuff. And I like very much this webinar with Eduardo, because he really got to the point and explain why engineers are so important and why engineers need to be part of the product discovery process, and they also need to be to understand the business side of things. And today, as I was saying, we're going to be seeing product discovery from the lens of the consultant. Let's see if there's something that makes sense for you. So something I used to say quite recently is that why would anyone would want to get started with product discovery? Well, because as I say, life's too short to build something nobody wants. And that's the key, probably the key thing in product discovery. It's making sure that what we build is going to have an impact. And it's more than that. It's a continuous approach, it's a mentality, it's a mindset. And in the end, it's about out-learning competition. It's about learning faster than competitors, because there is always someone trying to do the same that you're trying to do. And probably now more than ever, it's the time that companies need to adopt this mentality. Today, we're going to be focusing on the product discovery part, but we emphasize and we explain our customers that this continuous discovery mentality goes all the way down from the strategy to the delivery. It's continuous discovery of everything all the time, forever. Okay. And the agenda for today is these 4 topics. Probably, if you have been in the previous webinars where you already know something about product discovery, if this is the first time, you will allow me to do a very, very, very short introduction to the concept of product discovery. Then I will welcome you officially to the continuous discovery era, and we will introduce our product discovery framework and our F.A.S.T method for introducing discovery into organizations. So, product discovery. What the hell is product discovery? So we didn't invent product discovery, just in case someone is wondering. So, but first I will explain what product discovery is not. Product discovery is not what we used to call also lean product management. And maybe if you have been following us for a while, you know that we talk a lot about lean product management. We have trainings and consulting programs about lean product management. But lean product management is an overarching approach to managing products, modern products, both digital and physical, or any type of products. Is how we manage a product from throughout all the life cycle of the product. And product discovery is one, say, I wouldn't say the most important, but one of the key pieces of lean product management. It's about discovering what to build and doing it as fast as possible and with the minimum resources as possible. Also, sometimes when introducing this to prospects and customers and talking about this with other people, they confuse product discovery with lean inception. It's not the same. Lean inception is a technique to collaboratively define and implement a delivery roadmap. And it's a concept that was developed and coined by Paolo Caroli, a principal consultant at ThoughtWorks. There is a book about it also. It's lean inception or similar things like agile inception is a technique used to kick off what people refer to as agile projects. It's an evolution of the original idea of running project inceptions from a lean perspective, but it's not the same. It's a one-off, short and focused approach to collaboratively decide what to build, but it lacks many of the things that we introduce in product discovery. And design sprint is not product discovery either. If the experts in the world allow me to say, we could almost say that product discovery is about continuously running design sprints. It's a non-stop running design sprints. You have a problem, you explore the problem, you define possible solutions, you validate solutions, and then you decide if you go back to exploring the problem or you validate more solutions in a never-ending loop that we will see. But it's not the same. I mean, we use design sprint and we recommend design sprints to solve specific problems in a very specific context in a very short time. Okay. For instance, I don't know. Let's see. All of a sudden, retention in our product went from 30% to 10%. What's going on? You may do a design sprint to see what comes out of that. That's 4 to 5 days to come out of possible solutions. Product discovery is that, but always, and with an additional thing that maybe is not so into design sprint, which is the primary research. It's the research of the market, which I think in design sprint is kind of taken for granted, and you will see now why I say so. I'm not saying that lean inception and design sprints are not valuable tools. They are very valuable tools and very good tools, but we need to learn to see the differences and when to use either. So product discovery is, for those of you hearing for the first time about product discovery, is the continuous process that I was saying before of learning and also validating what to build. Okay, it is mainly about discovering what the market is, what needs customers have, coming up with ideas for solutions, and quickly validating them with rapid prototyping. All of that before building a single line of code. Okay, you may create code for a prototype, but not quality production code. Okay, because code, as Eduardo was saying in the previous webinar, very wisely, code is a liability. So every single line of code that you do not build is something good for you. Okay, so you need to make sure that those things that go into delivery are likely to succeed. Okay, that is, I mean, you cannot know for sure everything, but there are many ways in which you can quickly, cheaply, and validate what you're going to build. And that's the idea of product discovery. Okay, and product discovery is an ongoing process. Obviously, if you're starting a product from the beginning, there's going to be a lot of product discovery. But if the product is already growing or in maturity phase, there's going to be continuous discovery always, because every new big functionality or any new segment of customers that you're targeting will require a new set of product discovery. And that's what we're going to be showing you here today. As you probably know, and if you don't, you should really think about this. There are three main risks that we are trying to reduce in the product discovery process, because in the end, product discovery is a continuous process of reducing uncertainty, of reducing risks, and these are the three main ones. Is it something desirable, usable, and feasible? Does someone want this? Can they use it? And can we build it? Okay, and this is the continuous process. Sometimes probably everything starts with desirability, because if you're building something that nobody wants, you actually don't care about usability and feasibility, right? But once you start to see that that's something that may have attraction in the market, then you need to start wondering about the rest of the bubbles. And we do this and we recommend this because we are still very much in this mentality. We need to move from still this crystallized mentality of projects, running organizations based on projects, and moving into product mindset. In the last few 20 years, maybe, companies have become really good in delivering quality software to production continuously and building a strong and very good software platforms that support product teams to develop on top of it. However, still, success rate for products is depressing. Failure in new products and new functionalities can range from 40 to 90%, depending on the industry and the type of product. And we think that this is because there is a huge part of the process that is still very much based on a waterfall. So a lot of people decide what needs to get built, and then they just hand over a business case and a bunch of requirements for the agile teams or even to product teams for delivery. And that's not what we want. We think that risks need to be tackled up front rather than just here when you start delivering something. Products need to be defined and designed collaboratively rather than sequentially and in silos. And it's about solving problems, not implementing features. So success is based on finding something worth solving and solving it. It's not about building stuff. Okay, and this is how we think that we can change the mentality in organizations. Okay, and everything goes down in the end to the product team. The product team can be something as small as you can see in the screen right now. It can be something bigger. Even companies who deliver physical products may have the digital part of the product combined with the physical part of the product, but all of them should be thinking overall as a product. No? If you are building cars, the product is the car, but then there's going to be a product team developing the brake system, a product team developing the navigation system, a product team developing other parts of the software that make the whole car, right? So this is the type of mentality that we want to introduce to companies, and we think that's still missing. I think there's a long way to go, and because what we want is something like this. We want teams who are continuously discovering and continuously delivering. At some point in time, there's going to be more discovery. Some point in time, there's going to be more delivery. It's going to be ups and downs, but there's going to be always some sort of discovery going on while also delivering. And this is the two loops that we want to interconnect, the learning loop and the outcomes loop. So when you deliver, you get outcomes, and you learn from those outcomes that you, again, introduce to your product discovery process. Today, we're going to be focusing on this, right? So we're not going to be talking about delivery. We're going to be seeing how we can actually get started with this. As I was saying, there is always ups and downs. If you are starting a product at the beginning, it's going to be mostly discovery. And as you start researching, you start validating with customers, and you start maybe getting closer to your first MVP and iterating the MVP, there's going to be much more delivery. At some point in time, you decide to build something new, you discover, then you see that something's wrong. Maybe you're targeting the wrong set of customers. You need to do a whole bunch of new product discovery. So the team is the same team, but 100% of their capacity sometimes is dedicated to discovery, sometimes dedicated to delivery. This is the difficult part. No? How do we manage this? But it shouldn't be difficult as long as we understand that both discovery and delivery are important for the success of the business. And if you want to learn more, probably you heard. If you don't, we just published our third book. It's available in our site for free. And if you believe that we may get some money out of it, you can also get it in LimpUp by a small amount of money. You can get a lot of more details about what we're going to be talking about here today by downloading the book. So, I'm sorry for my voice, it's getting worse. I forgot to say, as usual, if you have questions, just put them in the chat. Today I'm here alone, I have no help, so I'm going to go through the chat when I finish all the explanation, let's say. So welcome to the continuous discovery era. So let's say more than ever, companies need the capability to quickly learn and validate what the market needs, continuously evolve products, move into adjacent markets or product categories, or create new markets. Companies who succeed in the next few years are going to be those who learn faster than their competitors. And that's the ultimate goal of product discovery, outlearning competition, as I was saying before. And this is how we see business agility. From our understanding, business agility is what allows companies to decide to continue investing in a product, to decide to kill a product, to decide to move into an adjacent market, to decide to invest into something which is transformational, to see how that future is going to look like. That's from looking at the things from the portfolio of products. That's where true business agility comes from our side, from our understanding, not from the operational side of things, because we take for granted that most companies nowadays know how to build software fast, quickly, and reliably. Okay, so that's where we think true business agility comes, and product discovery is a key component of this business agility. In the past, let's say that most established companies found their success during a time where the pace of change was much slower. So for them, great strategy meant finding a niche, finding a competitive advantage, and protecting it through good financial management. These businesses, and still many businesses nowadays, used to be run on the basis of 3 to 5 year business planning, annual budgets, waterfall product development methods, siloed business departments, and investment processes that relied on making big bets upfront. And that's the opposite of what we recommend nowadays. You need to invest as you learn something. No, do not make the big bet on the first day. So just when these companies need to be more agile and responsive, they find themselves, let's say, with management systems and processes that were useful during the past century, not anymore. Nowadays, the notion of a stable business environment, as you can imagine, is a myth. Companies must be managed to consistently move from one competitive advantage to another continuously. Good strategy is now about exploiting current advantages while exploring new ones. That's continuous discovery. And we will present here today a way that you can start it with this in your company if you are new to this world of product discovery. Continuing with a little bit of this mentality that still persists in many companies is that many companies still operate based on dangerous assumptions, especially in times of great volatility and unpredictability like these ones. Some companies still assume that they can predict the future, that they know what customers want, that they know how to build things, and that nothing is going to change along the way. For those companies, failure is not an option. So, because they can predict the future, so you cannot fail, right? So, and from a perspective, that's a recipe for failure. If you want to become a modern product organization, first thing you have to do is change the way you perceive the world. And that means acknowledging that you cannot predict the future, that you don't know what customers want, that you don't know how to build it. And that is about developing a learning mindset. And for that, we came up after some time of working with many companies, many businesses, and a lot of experience with what we call the 10 product discovery principles. These are a new glasses that we provide to our customers, through which they can see the world in a new way. Right? I'm going to go quickly through them. Probably some of them will sound familiar. First one is the truth is out there. So the focus must be on the customer needs and not just on the needs of the business. The second one is discover your customers. Discover who your customers are and what they really need by observing them and interacting with them on a frequent basis throughout the whole product life cycle, not just at the beginning. Validate before building. Reduce uncertainty as much as you can before building a single line of code. Tackle risks upfront is the fourth one. Risks should be tackled upfront. By risk, we mean this what we were mentioning about desirability, usability, feasibility, and viability that we tackle also from the point of view of business or business model, but it's also you shouldn't forget about that risk as well. Fifth one is that information has a value. So go cheap and fast at the beginning and invest more as you reduce uncertainty and data confirms your hypothesis or invalidates your hypothesis, right? So information has a value. The more you learn, the more you will have to invest to learn more, right? So try to learn as fast as possible and as cheap as possible at the beginning, because when you start building software, learning is going to be, and you are already hitting the market, learning is going to be much expensive and much more difficult. Co-creation. Products are defined and designed collaboratively. Probably needless to say nowadays, but I think I still need to remind people that products are designed collaboratively, iteratively, and incrementally, rather than sequentially and in phases. And obviously, co-creation involving the customer. Autonomy. So we need to enable full end-to-end products responsible for discovering and owning their strategy and the solutions. We don't hand over a business case to a product team and say, hey guys, deliver. That's not how it works. Okay. Direction. Discovery of a new business idea, a new product, or a new functionality must always respond to a strategic need. It's not something random that product teams come up with. Impact. It's product discovery. It's all about generating business results while solving problems for customers. Okay, if you fail in one of these two, you are not doing it right. Okay, we need to focus on solving problems for customers, and that is what will drive business growth. It's about outcomes, not outputs. And last but not least is the framework that we represent with this symbol. Discovery is messy and unpredictable. We need to put some structure and processes in place to organize our efforts and to be effective and provide visibility. Okay, at least at the beginning. Then with time, you will come up with your own framework. You will adapt the one that we are presenting here. It's fine. But if it's the first time and you want to introduce to your company, many people will be reluctant. Many people will not understand what you're doing. So it's helpful to have a framework and to explain what you're doing. And this is what we're going to be showing next. The continuous discovery framework takes the shape. I could be maybe 2 hours talking about this. I'm going to just try to explain the most important stuff, and you can get much more details in the book. So everything starts with a goal, as you can imagine. A goal can be solving a problem in the marketplace, or can be a growth issue with our product, or it can be achieving the third quarter OKR for the business. Okay, you have a goal, and that's the starting point. From the goal is the point where you enter this infinite loop. Okay, and here there's always a decision in the middle. You could, for some things that you have been doing forever, you could say, hey, we can go straight ahead into build. Fair enough. Okay, you see, this is something easy. We have been doing it for ages. We know the outcome. Okay, let's do it. Build. Okay, you can do a user story mapping session and create a release plan and deliver. Okay, fair enough. As the level of uncertainty and scope of the goal is bigger, you should be considering, should we explore a little bit? And here is where we explore the problem space. Okay, we do some primary research. Who is the market? Who are the customers? What problems are they having? What other products are they using? What jobs what jobs to be done are they trying to do? Okay, typical research, nothing new. Ethnographic research, surveys, interviews, all those sorts of things. From that, you gather a lot of insights, and you may run an ideation session. Okay, from these ideas, you should be selecting those who are candidates for going into the decision point. And in the decision point, you say, shall we build? Shall we validate? Or maybe we need a little bit more exploration, because we are not sure that this is the right target, that this is the right customer, something like that. Okay, this is always the decision point. If you decide to go into validation, this is where we are basically prototyping and testing. You can do one prototype to do, this is an end-to-end relationship, if you understand what I mean. So you can do one prototype and test several things, or you can just do one prototype to test one thing, and then you do another prototype to test another thing. And you can also do more detailed prototypes. You can start with a wireframe, and then you can go to a click dummy, then you can go to a prototype with HTML. It depends on the type of risk that you are trying to assess. It can be desirability, it can be usability, it can be also a technical spike, because there is a huge technical risk. Okay, and here you're in validation. Okay, and you get, again, here you learn something. Here, when you get back to this place, it's the famous decision: kill, pivot, or I don't know how to pronounce this in English, persevere or persevere. Okay, so if you decide to kill, it's because you learned something that invalidated your hypothesis. So you are wrong. Stop. Just do something else. Okay. If you decide to pivot, you're going back to exploration. It's because you may discover that you are targeting the wrong segment of customers, that you are addressing the wrong job to be done. Something that is really, let's go back to square one, let's do some more research and see what comes out of this. And persevere may mean more validation, okay? And the last one is, okay, if it's not any of those, shall we build something? And then you create your value proposition, you prepare your roadmap for your first MVP, and you start delivering stuff, okay? This is the overall framework. But on top of this framework, to help you organize your efforts, there are 2 additional tools that we recommend that probably will ring a bell. The first one is impact mapping. Impact mapping, it's a tool that helps us connect the goal with ideas for solutions, experiments, or even functionalities. Okay. There are other tools out there. You may have heard of Opportunity Solution Trees by Teresa Torres, which is really cool. It's quite similar to this one. I like impact mapping. I learned about it many years ago, and it can actually be adapted very well and allows you to connect the exploration with the validation process visually, and to be able to explain to stakeholders, to other teams, to managers, what the hell you're doing. In this case, for instance, imagine that you are Uber founder and you are solving the problem, taxi service in my city sucks. This is an example, right? Okay. So you may define broadly 2 types of actors, could be users and drivers. Then here, what we do is identify the outcomes of the jobs to be done. That's a methodology that we explain in our trainings and also a little bit in the book. Jobs to be done, probably known by many of you. Here we identify the outcomes. We are still thinking about outcomes, okay? I don't know what I did now, but it's kind of, well, darker. I don't know what happened. Okay, so we identify outcomes, and for these outcomes, we may run an ideation session that we mentioned before. And as a team, and maybe even involving customers, we may define ideas for solutions. These are just ideas for solutions. We are not yet building anything. Some of these ideas will go into validation. We may create some prototypes with different degrees of fidelity, as Oliver Jan was explaining in the first webinar of the series. We may jump straight ahead into build because we have done it so many times. We find it easier. It's not too much cost. We can quickly build it. Okay, let's build it. Okay. And this is a map. You can keep it alive, but still it's a map. So in addition to this, we also recommend that you can use Kanban for product discovery. This is nothing new, as you can imagine. Here you can see all the different phases of the infinite loop. You can do your own. Just bear in mind that if you know something about Kanban, this is not Kanban for delivery. Here the focus is on deciding what to do and what goes next and what are the risks that you are assessing, because it's not so much about the stability of flow if you know something about Kanban, because things may go back and forth. So because discovery is kind of messy, but at least it will provide an additional layer of visibility and will allow you to control your work in progress, to see that things are moving. And here you at the end you connect with the delivery. In the delivery, you can either do Scrum or Kanban or whatever you're doing. In the side of discovery, because there is a lot of variability and in the process and in the tasks that you're doing, we strongly recommend Kanban over anything else, right? So Scrum for product discovery, there's some people doing that, but in our experience, Kanban is much better. And last but not least, if my voice allows to finish, the FAST method. I had a problem here. I don't know what's going on. I cannot see the slides properly. I don't know what happened here. Well, okay. I hope you can see the slides properly. Let me see the chat. Nobody says anything. Well, so what we call the FAST method. Why did we managed to come up with a method and also use an acronym like FAST? Because we think that nowadays it's important to be fast rather than safe. And you know what I mean by that. If you want to be safe, okay, but what you need to do nowadays is to be fast. To be fast in discovering your strategy, to be fast in managing your goals, in creating your roadmap, in evolving your roadmap, in discovering what the market needs. And we managed to, after some considerations, to put together this method that may help you introduce product discovery in your organizations. First, let's see some of the obstacles that you may find, because you may find some obstacles. Bear in mind, if you have any of those things on the screen in your company, it will be very difficult for you to adopt product discovery. First of all, again, product discovery, like many other things, is a mindset. It's not only a process and a practice, it's a mindset. But if you have any of these issues, it will be difficult. So you need a clear, if you have the strategy is not clear, as you could see, everything started from a goal. And in the principles, we also saw that we need some direction. So effective product discovery requires autonomous teams that we were seeing also with a clear direction. When strategy is not clear, product teams will be wasting a lot of time doing things that are useless. Okay, so we need to make sure that we provide this direction. And direction is not only at the highest strategic level. You have a product vision, you have product strategy, you have OKRs, you have product roadmap. All these things need to be visible and clearly understood. Absence of structure and process. As we were saying, discovery can be a messy process. So it's not like delivering software. Sometimes you're going to be preparing a survey, then another day it's going to be a landing page, another day it's going to be a prototype, different levels of fidelity of a prototype. Then you will go back to square one to do more research, and then you will see we don't know what we are doing. So this is not a straightforward phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 process. So you need some structure in here, and that's the structure that we suggested with our framework and Kanban and impact mapping. If your company has fear of failure, it's going to be nearly impossible that you are able to effectively implement or adopt a continuous discovery process. So if your company doesn't tolerate failure and measures progress and success based on productivity, which is output, you will have a hard time, because management and stakeholders will be constantly interfering your work, questioning your decisions and telling you what to do and pressuring for delivery, rather than wondering and thinking about strategy and goals and helping you achieve those strategy and those goals. You may also have solution bias or innovator bias in the sense that it's natural for human beings to be focusing on solutions, and that's what we want to prevent with the product discovery framework and processes. Where even if you're handed over a solution, build a red sports car, that's a solution, you need to be able to take a step backwards and think about, do a little bit of research and evaluate or analyze the problem space and see who might need a red sports car, under which conditions, who is our target segment. Let's do some validation. That's even if your company is very solution biased, which many companies are, try to take a step back. In the book, we also provide you with a few tools that you can use to help your stakeholders and managers to take this step back, wait for a while, and see if we are in the wrong direction or not. And last but not least, fundamental, continuous discovery means continuous access to customers. For exploration, for validation, you will be needing customers on a weekly basis. So your customer recruitment process needs to be quite effective, quite tuned. It's going to be difficult at the beginning, especially if your business is B2B. It's going to be even more complicated. If it's B2C, there are plenty of platforms and ways that you can recruit customers. For B2B, things are tougher, okay? But you need to do it, okay? You need access to customers. So the framework, FAST, starts with, again, the framework. You need a framework, you need alignment, you need support, and you need a team. That's our simple and straightforward framework, method for getting started with discovery in your team or in your company. How, if we implement the framework, this infinite loop, imagine that you are starting a new product or a big new piece of problem to be solved in the world. Something where your initial weeks could be looking something like this. So you start with the liftoff. I'm going to try to draw. If you see what I'm drawing, you may start with the liftoff. This is where you create alignment, you identify the goal, the success measures, how this aligns with your company strategy, who's the team, etc., etc. Initially, we recommend a weekly touch point of planning and learning. Does this mean that we are doing Scrum? No. This means that you every week you see what's coming in the next week, and that if you did something, you also learn what happened. Okay, you may be exploring, you may be validating. Sometimes you may be starting something this week that may span 2 weeks. It's not the same doing 5 customer interviews that running a research in the market. One may take much longer than the other. Okay. Also look that we have customer interviews here, customer interviews here, customer interviews here, customer interviews here. So this is something that you need to become very good at recruiting customers. So you enter the research loop, you spend 2 weeks researching Google search trends, doing a market research, interviewing customers, whatever. Then you do an ideation session, and from this ideation session, you evaluate some options, and then you go into the validation loop. You spend 2 weeks into the validation loop, prototyping, testing, and learning. Again, prototyping, testing, and learning. And at the end, you decide. Remember, kill, pivot, or persevere, and or build. And there are also 2 important touch points, which are in strong blue, which are strategic review. It's important, at least when you get out of the exploration cycle and when you get out of the validation cycle, at least it could be weekly, but we know how things work, that at least you get stakeholders, management, maybe other teams in the company involved, and you make sure that what you are learning, what you are validating is aligned with what the company wants. You are in the right direction, indicators look good, and you may also get feedback and input from other parts of the organization, right? So this is why we include this strategic review also at every cycle of the 2 big loops. The second one, first one is framework, second one is alignment. Here you can use your favorite tool or framework or template for creating alignment. This is one that you can see here below, maybe not very clear, but I was. Oh man, when did you stop listening to me? It's been a while, no? I may have touched something. Can someone say when we're when? Sorry, I touched the wrong button. Now you can listen to me, but I don't know when was the last time. So can you just which slide at the beginning of the alignment? Oof, sorry. Okay, phew. Sorry, I just clicked the wrong button. So I will have to repeat alignment. So in alignment, I was saying that you can use any tool you like. The important thing is that you create this alignment. This tool that we recommend here is called Strategy Briefing from Stephen Bungay at The Art of Action. You need context. See, what is our situation right now? What is happening in the market? What are the technology trends? Anything. What's going on? Right? What's going on? What is our problem? Then you may need higher intent, which is the goals of the business unit, the goals of the company. Then you define your goal as for the discovery effort. Okay, it could be several, as we mentioned before. And here you would have key implied tasks, those things that you may not forget. As I was saying, and you were not hearing, this is not going to be 45 tasks, but 3 to 4, 5 things that you must not forget. Maybe some dependencies, maybe some resources that you may need, that may be difficult to find. Those things, please at least think about it. And also boundaries. Those things that you may not impact as a result of your discovery process. Maybe you are targeting an increase in retention, but you have a constraint that says, okay, but please do not reduce acquisition. Okay, you may do whatever you want to increase retention, but do not reduce acquisition. Okay, that's an example. So this was alignment. Second point, there's only 2 points missing. Sorry for the delay. The third one is support. So as you can imagine, to do all this, you need some organizational support. I hope that some of these are familiar to the audience. You need to be budgeting in a lean way. So the more you learn, the more you invest. You don't invest everything up front. You need leaders, support kind of leadership. I mean, leaders that are not just micromanaging you, leaders that provide you with intent, with direction, with boundaries, and provide you with the help and the resources and the customers that you need. Sometimes you may also need coaching, both external or internal, maybe at the beginning to get started, maybe when you face a specific situation that the team doesn't know what to do about, you may involve an external consultant or even maybe another team from the same company. And you obviously, again, I've repeated 100 times already, you need strategy. Okay, everything you do must be aligned with the strategy of the company. You just don't do random things here. Okay. And the last but not least is the team. Product teams need to be able to do both discovery and delivery. The size and shape of the team will depend across industries. If it's a pure digital native company, you can have a small set of people who do everything. If it's a company that builds cars, you will have multiple product teams doing software as well as the product team managing the car. All of that needs to be can be considered the full product team, right? But at least from the digital point of view, you need specific composition. You need at least in the discovery process, the team may be huge, but in the discovery process, you need 3 people. As you can imagine, you need the product manager, you need the product designer slash UX slash visual design, whatever you want to call it, and you need engineer. This is, some people refer to it as the product triad. Does it mean that only these people do discovery? It depends. It depends on many factors. Maybe yes, maybe not. Maybe sometimes they involve the team. Maybe then these three people do the initial research, and then they do an ideation session with the whole team and some stakeholders. And then when doing the usability testing, they also involve the team. Sometimes the whole team does everything. But as soon as you start delivering, it's quite difficult that everybody does everything. Okay, just bear in mind that you need at least these three bubbles. Teams need autonomy. That connects with the alignment part. You provide autonomy. You create autonomy if you provide alignment. If you provide boundaries, okay, and then the tools and resources required to perform the task, and that's fundamental for product discovery. Okay, we need the creativity and the autonomy of the teams, and commitment, which means that you don't have one person in the team working for this team and then spending some of the time working for other team. Try to make as much as possible full 100% focused product teams, right? We know that in reality that's not always possible, but make the effort. Otherwise, you may have some issues. And this was the last part. I almost run out of time. Sorry for the problem with the noise. Now, just to mention before we go into the questions that if you can check into our upcoming events page, we are running let's say weekly master classes of specific topics like product discovery, 2-hour focus sessions on product discovery, product strategy, product marketing, and so on. We also have an upcoming new edition of Lean Product Management training. September, probably. We have no dates yet, so just if you're interested, if you're in the list, you don't have to worry because you will get the announcement. Otherwise, you can also check this page. And there's also an upcoming product discovery workshop and training, most probably in October. So this is going to be October and this is going to be September. We have to change some initial dates due to all this coronavirus thing, but this is still in the roadmap and we are nicely progressing towards that. Okay. So this said, if anybody has any questions, the chat is open. Well, it's been open, and sorry for the delay and sorry for spending 1 hour instead of 45 minutes, which was the idea initially. If you have any questions. I hope you can still hear me. I will wait a few seconds if there are no questions. I'm gonna say goodbye from the camera. It's been a pleasure. So I hope that I could explain a little bit of how to get started with product discovery, provide some links, and provide some ideas if you want to get started with this. I'm looking forward to seeing you in future webinars that we're going to be running, and I hope you can enjoy nice holidays with your family and friends. Okay, so thank you very much for joining, and goodbye.